with them, took pictures just to see the experience, and then I went over to KFC or Pizza Hut for dinner, and they finished eating their 11-course or 15-course meal. And you saw some of the pictures of the food. Now, all these pictures we can provide for your Facebook page, but it was an experience. But
well, I got to tell you, everything on that menu tasted fine.
It's an really good. The chef comes out and explains to you, right?
Well, so
it's by altitude.
Yes. So essentially, you have these different altitudes in Peru, and it's dishes based on that. And so you have some seafood, you have some mountain stuff, and it's this whole thing. They explain it to you. There's a lot of presentation. They tell you what you can eat and what you can't eat, because some things on the plate they say are very poisonous.
Okay.
So there is a presentation factor to it. And when you eat it, it doesn't, like piranha, the piranhas are staring you in the face. It's not what you eat.
Dude, that's the picture that we need to have on the Facebook page, because they look hideous.
They are, and I got to tell you, those teeth, I wouldn't want to get bitten by one of those things.
No
but
kidding.
But it was, it didn't taste bad. And again, part of, going to Peru and going on the Inca Trail and Machu Picchu and stuff, it's about doing stuff that you don't have the opportunity to do here.
Yeah, sure.
Hiking up to Machu Picchu, you can't do something like that here in the United States. So I figured part of it was the food.
Well, one of the things we haven't really talked about to get back to the trail was the scenery. I mean, the pictures you guys had were phenomenal.
And I haven't even posted half the pictures. I mean,
You're still working on the video.
I'm still working on the video because I want to make it as epic as it was. The problem is, again, I don't have drone footage, so, it's pretty much just a selfie stick, and that's where all the video's coming from, or phones and stuff like that. So it's hard to put into perspective what hiking amongst these mountains are. And when you look back at the trail and you're like, oh my God, I just hiked from over there on the other side of that mountain, because you're crossing mountains and you're going around these places. And sometimes you don't, I had to always be reminded by William or one of the porters that we were hiking with, look back, because you're so focused on looking forward and getting to where you're going.
Yeah.
You don't look
where you
back.
came from. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of a motto for life.
There's the piranha shot. Oh, those teeth are so nasty.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I definitely got to put some pictures up.
And like we were saying, this restaurant is all about altitude. So obviously the piranhas were below sea level, so 0. So but there's a picture of the menu that I could show you that shows all that stuff. So it was interesting. I mean, it isn't for me, it isn't my thing. So there's the menu, so you can kind of see, like they would tell you what altitude.
Hey, so one of the questions I had we haven't gotten to yet is on language. I mean, I was just looking at your menu, which made me think of it. Now, how critical? It's obviously not that critical to know Spanish. I'm sure it's very.
Porters don't even speak Spanish.
It depends on
what do they speak.
They speak Spanish.
No, the porters had a different language. Remember, William spoke it, but it was called. If you said it, I would know it. It's another language. It's a language basically of the Incas or whatever.
So he had actually Inca heritage.
So he could speak Spanish in that. So he would translate. So when I was talking to him, it was another complete language.
And to your point, you don't have to know. I mean, none of us knew Spanish at all.
Virginia knew more than I did.
Yeah, Virginia was definitely the
She helped me get my pizza one night by saying no tomatoes. I don't know how that works.
Right, but
no tomatillo.
It's not necessary. Google even sells these earbuds now that will translate in your ear live.
Oh, that's interesting.
Whatever language.
The technology nowadays.
And Google Translate works pretty well. So I don't let language make the decision. You should go because you want the scenery.
It is unbelievable. Right. It's something that, by the way, I give Gary credit. I didn't know much about Machu Picchu, and it wasn't on my radar. But when you go there, and there's a book called Turn Right at Machu Picchu that really talks about it, and it's fascinating. It's in the middle of nowhere, and to hike the Inca Trail to get there is very satisfying. And the ruins that you see along the way and the experience that you have is so well worth it.
If any of your listeners even think about taking a bus
or a train,
never listen to your podcast ever again.
Because they're not the target audience.
No, they absolutely, because there's no way. Again, it was so unsatisfying for me to walk through the Sun Gate and then see a guy with white socks and sandals with a selfie stick.
They walked how far to get there?
It's a good mile.
Up the hill. Bus station. He's at Machu Picchu to walk up to the gates.
Yeah.
Machu Picchu, you're right there. Right.
I mean, so like from the parking lot to Machu Picchu, how far?
Yeah. 15, 20 feet.
Oh,
It's
God,
not.
really?
Yeah.
It's that easy?
There is no parking lot,
Ah.
really. You literally have to take a bus up there and they drop you off.
Yeah.
Wow.
The bus is
And the bus
running.
takes you down to the train station. You take a train to Machu Picchu City, and then a bus runs you up to Machu Picchu.
And
Now, how long do they let you kind of wander the Machu Picchu area as long as you want?
Yeah, so we got there, and
Because that looked cool to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like all the rooms and all the,
it was awesome. The only thing is, our tour guide by this time got really sick, which is weird. He had lost his voice, so he hooked us up with another tour guide, which is ironic. So this tour guide gives us a tour, and when you get to Machu Picchu, they don't allow any drinks or any food.
You can't have a backpack.
You can't have a backpack.
You have to check your backpack.
So
Can you take pictures inside?
Oh
the
yeah,
entrance?
you can take pictures, but you cannot bring your backpack or
No
any of that stuff.
tripod.
So when you walk in, you
Now, you think it's because they don't want food wrappers and water bottles?
yeah, they try to. I think so. And also, you've got what are the llamas? You have llamas walking
Yeah.
around all over the place.
Well, they don't mow the grass and they don't do a lot of upkeep on it. So the llamas are there just to make sure that the grass doesn't get out of control.
Huh.
But you've got them just walking around.
So you don't want to be eating wrappers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the sun was boiling on us, and this guy sat us
So
against
that
this hot
shocks
wall.
me. That really surprised me because you're at a pretty high elevation.
Well, right outside there's bars. You can leave, and here's the thing: when you go in, you're allowed to leave once and come back in. So you could go out and get water, but you can't bring it in. You can go outside and get something to drink and eat once, and then go back in. But we're on a tour with this guy. He literally sits us against a wall where the sun is behind him,
And
just
he does
beating
a
on us.
speech for
And he does this
20
speech,
minutes,
at
30
least. I think it was like 45
I fell
minutes.
asleep.
You were baking.
And
I fell asleep.
it was fascinating, but at this point, we had 2.5 hours of sleep. We had just hiked in. We all smelled like crap, and we're all behind the thirst. And this
And
guy,
we don't have any water.
and this guy is passionate, which I appreciated about. He had studied the, Machu Picchu and how it's designed to see all these stars and how the astrology affects it. And so once that tour was over,
Yeah, it
everybody
wasn't
ran
him.
to get something to
It
drink.
wasn't him. It was the day.
Yeah.
It's the last day. William, our guide, gets sick, so he's waiting for us outside. We get this new guy. We get introduced to him. We get hooked up with a couple other people who we really didn't know. And we're sitting there in the sun and just baking. And all I'm thinking about is, get me out of Machu Picchu so I can get a drink in a Snickers bar.
Snickers
Because
bar.
I'm starving. And then we knew at 12 or 1 o'clock we had to meet William. And the problem is, and you'll see this at Machu Picchu a lot, you hear a lot of people talk about this in Machu Picchu, the lines are just unbelievable outside Machu Picchu.
You mean for food,
Yeah.
drinks, and
So the bathroom, and you had to
Food,
use
drinks,
the bathroom.
the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom was nice. I mean, it was
Even
nice
the
to
bus.
finally wash my face with a sink.
The
So they had
bus.
running water at Machu Picchu. It was great. That was a
We,
big breakthrough.
so no showers on the trail. That's not going to happen.
There,
No running
there,
water.
there was a shower, and I went one time. But honestly, they run it
Yes.
through a creek. It is ice
It's
cold.
ice
It's
cold.
snow melt. So I turned on the shower to wash up. But I mean, I had like 3rd-degree frostbite from trying to wash up. I came out of there a woman.
Essentially, yeah, I had some exfoliating apricot scrub with me for my face and stuff, just to kind of wipe the dirt away. And that was one of the other times when I left, because I had just washed my face with the warm water that they had provided us, and that was the day when we saw them dump the water out, and then they used their feet that night to clean it. And Scott's like, "Look over there," and I just died laughing. I mean, I couldn't help but laugh. But then the next morning, I'm like, "Do I really want to use my apricot, scrub on my face with that water that they're using to wash their feet on?"
Oh, it gets worse. So you can relate to this, bird shooter, is that I have to pee so much because of the altitude sickness and the water you drink that I kept a Gatorade bottle in my tent. Because one night I'm like, I just don't want to get out of the tent.
It's called Mr. Yuck. It's a
Yeah.
technique
Fair
that's
enough.
been tested.
So I got up in the middle of the night and I peed in this Gatorade bottle. And I filled it, but I was able to stop, no problem. I, of course, then had to pee 4 more times. But I had to fill it out. So that morning, I poured.
You actually gave it to the Czech woman for her
No,
muscle
no.
cramps, right?
Well, that morning, I got out of the tent with a full bottle of urine, a full Gatorade bottle of urine, and I poured it out. And then I went and threw the Gatorade bottle into this garbage can that they had set up for us. And I watched those guys pick the Gatorade bottle out of the garbage
And recycle it?
and recycle it.
No!
So everybody was like, dude, are you going to tell them? I'm like, they don't speak our language. I don't know what to tell them. But I felt bad in a way, but I'm pretty healthy, and they'll just make them stronger. I had perfect body for 12 years.
Urine is sterile, so
Yeah, there you go.
Used it to pour the water into our food.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stuff.
To boil. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. I want to make sure that for your listeners, that we do cover, because it is something I think we'd highly recommend to go. and Gary just shared an article yesterday that Peru is like the capital of food.
Well,
now.
and so to get to some pointers, if you're gonna do this, book it early. Like we said, that guy booked it 2 years in advance. That's probably the best thing to do. We booked this about I think
6 months.
we made it in February.
Well, December we had made the decision. Yeah,
Yeah, we made
January
the
28th is when we had I think January 28th.
Yeah,
And we took off July 28th. So it was
and there
exactly
were
6
there were
months.
3 people who were supposed to go with us who delayed their payments to the tour company, and by the time they got around to paying the tour company said, "Hey, the permits are done."
One person missed it by 5 minutes.
Yes.
We had this other person go on this, and they had just given away the last visa because, like
Yeah.
Gary said, there's 500 people a day allowed, and that's it.
So you've got to pick the way I researched it was I picked the tour company. I just went to TripAdvisor, found the top tour company, which was Auspis Peru. They had great recommendations about food, and I know Scott had some dietary issues, so I made sure that there was a place that could do good food for
Meaning
us.
pizza and wings
Well,
required.
no, they made sure they loaded up on bread because you need carbs obviously
Yes.
for the hike. But I don't eat much else. But they were very accommodating, and our tour guide we were all friends with him on Facebook
Yeah.
now. Super nice guy, and he was great.
Well, now, what was we kind of danced around this. I don't know if you ever answered. What was the sort of the cost just for the guided part?
So
Obviously, you got to get that.
it depends on how many people
that's
go.
less than I would have thought.
But I think
5 days,
with
right?
6 people,
4
it was
days, 4 days, 3
I
nights.
think it was $960. It wound up to be $960 or $980.
We each
around
saved
there.
it was going to be $1,200, and then then 2 other people who had already signed up. They said, "Do you mind going with these 2 other people?" Who ended up being great. The guy was a doctor at Baylor University Hospital in Dallas, and his wife was an art teacher. So it was those 2 and us 4. Because we got over 5, they dropped it to it was like $980 a person or something like that, and that included everything, all the porters, the transportation. We got the best car on the train ride back, like an all glass car, meals, all that
Vista
stuff.
Dome, I think it was called.
The addition, and for the hotel really wasn't expensive.
So that gets you the entire Inca experience. So from the day you get on the hiking trail to the day you leave Machu
is what we did for the hotel, and then we flew from Cusco to Lima and said, "Let's spend the day in Lima." We spent the night, and then we flew direct back to Miami the next day.
Yeah, I think the total cost for my entire trip was somewhere around $1,600 to $1,800.
That seems incredibly reasonable for that experience.
But I loaded up